NBA draft playing at Kansas. He has missed 16 of the Kansas Jayhawks' last 27 games, I believe that is, due to cramps, hamstring, feeling sick, and all that kind of stuff. We've seen the clips of him pulling himself out of games. You had the big marquee matchup versus Arizona. Everybody looking ahead for this matchup, and he pulls himself out and say he can't go during warmups. Head coach Bill Self don't really know what's going on. He's trying to like figure it out. It don't even seem like he got a good answer that could help cover up or kind of lighten the blow and the scrutiny of like why is he not playing. And was listening to some stuff today. Scouts are like high on his potential and still projecting him to be a favorite, be the number one overall draft pick over AJ DeBansa. Me personally, first and foremost, stop comparing him to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was completely injured and could not play in the 11 games, I believe it was, that he did play was far enough to know that he was the number one draft pick. And in that, him, Kyrie being hurt, you didn't have to question his motor. You didn't have to question his love for the game. You didn't have to question the quote unquote NIL stuff. I seen today on First Take with Stephen A. saying that some people are alleging that Kansas didn't really give him the full bag through NIL that he was promised, and therefore he's kind of like taking it out on them since they ain't really give him all his money to be like, well, I ain't gonna play all these games. That's alleged, but considering the spontaneousness in terms of never knowing when you're actually going to play, that narrative has legs. Kicking it to you, Izzo, do you trust him if you a GM or you drafting him number one?
Um, I mean, the fact if you got to ponder on it, man, is I do see him as like a he got he. I see some baby Kobe in his game. I see some, the for the footwork and I see some Anthony Edwards in his game, but it's just like those guys actually loved playing, and you didn't have to question their motor or their love or their wherewithal to be there. But because this landscape of NIL has changed, these guys are taking college as if it's just literally um, almost like a practice run. They going half speed, they're not going full speed, for their full career that's gonna be in the pros. That a lot of them are self-preserving in order to get there. So am I mad at them? Not really, because I get the mindset behind saving yourself for the bigger bag, but don't jeopardize the bigger bag by getting a nasty narrative attached to you, while you're doing it. It ain't what you do, is how you do. So you got to find a better way of going about getting your point across. If they ain't give you all the bag for NIL, you might have to tough some of that shit up, play through it anyway, knowing that a bigger bag is on the way on the other side. So it's just tough, man. It's tough. But to answer your question, would I draft him number one? I think he's more skilled than AJ. But it's a lot of guys that could potentially, and I say a lot, right? But handful of guys that got the potential to go number one this year. Um, Arguably, yes, but it's still up in the air enough to where I think a GM would pick AJ, but don't be dumb passing up on Kobe to get a Julius Randle.
I don't trust him. If I'm a GM, I'm going with AJ.
I
Um,
ain't mad at you for that.
and the reason why is because right, you have the base argument of hey, these cramps and everything else is going on, hamstrings and so forth. This is a 30 plus game sample size regular season, factor in NCAA. If you could play that, then we talking about jumping to 82 games. So if you struggling to get through a college season, what in the hell makes me think you're going to be number one overall draft pick franchise player having that type of availability on a night to night 82 game, a 65 game minimum season. Granted, you don't need him to be a superstar in his first year. Obviously, the number one overall draft pick, the lottery picks, you're going off potential. But as a wise man once said, potential just means you ain't really did shit yet, right? And me personally, to me, right now, what's going on, because we can't trust him and we're literally gambling on him, I think we could be looking at a Zion Williamson situation with his career. That's where my mind goes to in terms of like availability. And you looking up 3, 4, 5 years from now, I'm like, damn, how many times did he even at least play 50 games in the season? So I don't trust him. Yes, he got the talent. When he's bro, what he said, Coach Carter about Junior? He's like, man, Junior, he's like a solar eclipse. Hey, when you see him, it's rare when you see him, but when you do, it's special. Like that's Darryn Peterson, man. It's just like we don't know when we gonna see him, but when we do, it is special. But when you talk about being a number one overall draft pick, franchise player, and all that goes into that, it's just like, do we sell out arenas? Do we sell out our season tickets for you? Or do fans is like, yo, is dude playing before I pull up tonight? And so it's just a horrible circumstance to be having going into this draft. I think it's really hit or miss with this dude. If you draft him and he turns out to be a Zion, like if you knew what Zion career was going to turn out to be, would you still draft him number one? I don't think nobody would. Judging him off like what his career has been thus far and his inability to like stay healthy. And I think that's potentially Darryn Peterson, and here's the other thing too, dog. Right. So right now he got the pull to say, "Hey, I'm not playing. Hit a three, whatever the case may be." Tap coach and say, "Hey, get me out." But when you get to the league, you're gonna be trying to prove a point that you are healthy. So let's say you really not healthy, but you're trying to prove a point to be like, "I can be available," and then you really start injuring yourself all the more because now you really trying to play hurt to prove a point of being available.
It's just
Then
bad.
what?
It's just bad all the way around, man. You gotta
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. So,
sheesh.
yeah, man. I don't trust him. Like I say, it's hit or miss. He's giving me Zion Williamson type vibes in terms of like availability. I'm too scared. Like I'll take it on the chin, which y'all fire me if he turns out to be like a great success. But I know if he ain't worth a damn, y'all gonna fire me and being like, why didn't you take AJ or somebody else? So yeah, sorry, Darryn. You can hoop, you cold, but that's only when or if you hooping.
The doors of the pod are open.